Jaybone, of course, he's not actually Cardhoarder. We did bring in a couple guests. Now, why did we decide to do that? I don't remember what the actual discussion was. Do you remember what went down? Why we decided to bring in some guest stars to the tournament?
I don't, but I love the idea. I think it's great to have some guests in. In fact, I've been posting about the event on my social media leading up to this, and I've had a handful of people message me and just be like, "Oh, how do I sign up for this?" Or, is it possible for me to be in this event, et cetera, et cetera. So there are a lot of people that are wanting to be in these streamer challenges that we're running, and opening it up to some guests and moving forward, doing things like that, I think is
it's the beginning.
Really sweet. It is the beginning. Kind of like how with the Super Leagues, right? Like VSL is to the point now where they're having playoff tournaments to get spots in their Super League. So there's a lot of room to grow.
Yes, absolutely. Jaybone's got an opening hand that just has no.
Your mic just went all robot again.
Okay.
All right. Well, Maxlongitude is going to start off with a Young Wolf. Jaybone does have a Forest and an Arbor Elf, so he's already on way to getting this combo online. He actually could have infinite mana as early as turn 3. So if he has something like Fertile Ground or Utopia Sprawl next turn, we could have some fireworks. So it sounds like if anybody's interested in, being in any of our streamer challenges, they can get a hold of Hand from Above. They're in chat. Just posting about it. So Max is just going to attack with his Young Wolf, play a Vault Scourge falling to 18, and pass the turn back to Jaybonecapone. So it looks like he does have that Fertile Ground that he's going to put on his Forest here. And he's going to be able to generate 2 mana. And there's an Abundant Growth. And a Viridian Longbow. So Jaybonecapone could win next turn. I see your mouth moving, Sean, but I don't have any audio from you. Jaybone's just going to attack for 2, Max is going to attack for 2, bringing Jaybone down to 17. Pass the turn back. Jaybone has a lot of mana available to him. I still can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Perfect.
Okay, I'm operating off of my other microphone, so that's unfortunate. Might be time to retire my my CAD U37. This is the one my stream helped me pay for a long time ago.
Oh, awesome.
Well, not awesome. It's been doing this on and off for the past few weeks.
Well, it's awesome that the community helped you get it.
Oh yeah, Chris, did you know that they helped me raise almost $400 to go to GP Charlotte and pay for the deck I want to play?
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Very cool. That's why I was up all night. I know some of my viewers are like, "How the hell are you awake right now, Chris?" Because we did a 12-hour stream to raise money for Charlotte. And yeah. Anyway.
Well, Jaybone has a lot of mana, and he has Viridian Longbow on this Arbor Elf. But Hunger of the Howlpack was able to buff this Young Wolf up to a 4/4. Quirion Ranger here is going to solve the mana issues that Max is having, so he's going to be able to continue to build this board. But Jaybone can just literally win the game at any point if he finds a Freed from the Real.
Yep. That's all he's missing. I mean, he's already got several. That's all he needs.
So we've got another Forest for Jaybone.
Max has so much gas, though. I'm looking at Max's hand. It seems like his bottleneck is his mana, but I feel like the Quirion is gonna begin to help him move through that. Because he can return the Forest and then replay the Forest and then play a 2-drop.
Yeah.
Just look at his hand, Chris. Look at this. It's insane.
You can have all the gas in the world, but you're just dead to a Freed from the Real, right?
That's true. Honestly, it's no surprise. I am indeed rooting for Jay, but that's just because I had a hand in the deck that he has built. But if he doesn't draw what he needs, Chris, in a couple turns, he's just dead.
Yeah, he's taking his time here. I think the first course of action is going to end up being killing that Quirion Ranger with the Arbor Elf.
Yes, he has to take
the Viridian Longbow.
He has to cut Max off that mana. Otherwise, Max's hand is just so live. I mean, he can. Oh, okay. Max is looking at Jay's list right now. On screen.
Just kind of wondering. Totally just kind of wondering what's going on.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he's raising some of these new questions. I don't know if I did a good job explaining it. What the deck's doing. I'm sure that Jay could do a better job. But yeah, that's it in a nutshell, right? It doesn't really do anything without that last piece, right? The freed from the real. To the point that Jay's also running transmutation cards.
Oh no! Looks like Jay's going to pass the turn without
he shoot
killing
the Ranger.
He's just going to do it in the upkeep.
Maybe he thinks that Jay. Maybe he smells a pump spell. I mean, Max does have one. Max has a groundswell.
Yeah.
Whoa! No attack from Max? What?
Yeah.
Oh no! I'm sorry. That was no. It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
I feel like if you're playing around a pump spell here, you just ping it on your turn. That way they don't get the extra damage from an attack here.
Are we going to see the Quirion Ranger return the forest, though, as well? Or...
Oh, I mean, if he doesn't have another land. Ooh, a Giga Draft.
Okay, so we're going to see Giga Draft. So is he just going to fog the Young Wolf here?
Well, it looks like he's going to replicate it and, tap a couple permanents.
Okay. Now, this Quirion Ranger can still just return that forest, and we could still see Max maybe deploy the Rancor onto the Wolf.
I mean, yeah, the Quirion Ranger can return the forest and untap the Wolf, and then he can replay the forest, Rancor the Wolf, and attack for 6.
Yeah.
Giga Drowse just seems like it does nothing there at that point.
I think that Jay's likely going to side them out. I think he was running the Drowses because they're a nice way to kind of get through opposing permission and or instant speed removal.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But I don't think they're useful in this match at all. I think it's like a really bad fog.
Alright, so Young Wolf is going to crash in for 4, bring Jaybone down to 9. Maybe we'll see a Freed from the Real here. The question is, if he does find the Freed from the Real, is Max going to make him go through to get 2 mana again? I'm still surprised that Jay didn't just kill the Quirion Ranger on his turn yet again.
Right, he had the opportunity to do so. I think any time that Max taps down and doesn't have the mana available, he just needs to snipe that Ranger.
Yeah.
And he's just not pulling that trigger. I'm not going to say anything in Jay's chat, but some of his viewers are saying you got to shoot the elf, right? I'm not allowed to obviously give any hints, but because Jay and I are sorry.
Rancor's going to go on the Young Wolf, bring it to a 6/4 trample. He can use the Quirion Ranger now to get 2 mana again. I'm still surprised that Jay didn't just kill the Quirion Ranger on his turn yet again.
Right, he had the opportunity to do so. I think any time that Max taps down and doesn't have the mana available, he just needs to snipe that Ranger.
Yeah.
And he's just not pulling that trigger. I'm not going to say anything in Jay's chat, but some of his viewers are saying you got to shoot the elf, right? I'm not allowed to obviously give any hints, but because Jay and I are Chris, you and I are looking at both players' hands, but
yeah.
He needs to shoot that elf like yesterday. Like, couldn't he have done it even last turn?
Well, so there was the groundswell saved it.
The groundswell.
So
yeah.
he used the ping at like a weird time, but even still. Maybe his plan here is just to like block and regenerate. But that now that it has trample, it only soaks up 1 damage.
That's right. The Rancor is that mirror breaker. He can't really jump until he finds the Freed. Another thing to think about though is Max does have 2 Vines of Vastuit in hand. So even if Jay went for a ping, could he not just give a Shroud in response?
He absolutely does. But Jay doesn't know that. Jay should just be making the best plays that Jay can make.
Right, I mean, he is a little flooded here, unfortunately. I mean, he's running 17 lands. He's drawn 5 of them. That's not where Jay wants to be. His hand is another land. It's a Tree of Tales. That's tutorable with his Trinket Mage package. But this was my worry when I looked at his list, too, Chris. I actually think he should be running even more cantrips than he is.
Yeah,
yep, so we're going to see...
Sometimes you just can't find the enchantment.
Interesting that we see the way that he used the POTUS. And that's a game.
Yeah, so there's just 3 lands in hand, 17 land deck, 1 million lands. They're going to go to a sideboard. Let's go ahead and take a look at Jaybone's sideboard. How do you think he should sideboard here? We've got 4 Nihilist Disciples, 3 Dispel, 3 Nature's Claim, a Relic of Progenitus, 2 Scattershot Archer, and 2 Evil Mox Pressure.
I think we have to see both the Crushers, and he needs to swap out those Giga Draws for something more effective. Would you even consider the Disciple package, Chris?
I mean, yeah, like the mono green deck is just going to try and do as much damage as fast as possible. So, just being able to go with all your land enchantments and your mana creatures into Annihilate's Disciple, gain some life, be able to block. It has to be better than some of the, spin the wheels cards. Like, you have cards like Herbal Poultice and things like that to save your creatures when you're comboing, but this green deck isn't going to be attacking on that angle. So you just need to have these buffers to try and live long enough to get your combo.
Yeah. Now, point in case. Here's the thing. I like bringing the Crushers because we know that Maxlongitude has some natural states. I assume those are coming in. So having some ways to win that don't involve the Viridian Longbow seem correct. So, okay, so we're underway.
So let's go ahead and take a quick look at Max's sideboard.
Okay.
Really quick. So we've got
They're jamming already with
2 Gut Shot, 2 Gut Shot, 2 Epic Confrontation, 2 Gleeful Sabotage, 2 Brindle Shout, 2 States, 2 Relics, and 2 Scattershot Archers. What do you think is gonna come in there?
Easily the Sabotages. That card's nuts with its Conspire, being able to take out 2 of Jay's enchantments. Gut Shot maybe even a consideration because it kills the Arbor Elf quite quickly and efficiently. Definitely the natural state as well. How do you feel about that?
I can agree with all those.
Okay, so those 6 maybe?
Yeah, so it looks like we've got already some decent boards here. Maxlongitude has a Korean Ranger, a Young Wolf with a Raincronet, and 2 Forests. Jaybone has a Utopia Sprawl and a Sheltered Aerie. This Sprawl is on the forest, even though it's not actually on the forest. And the Sheltered Aerie is also on the forest, but it's not actually on the forest. So it's kind of weird, but they're there.
Do you see how it says add? Do you see that on the text on Moto? The forest has this text on it.
Yeah.
How wonky does that look?
Real wonky. It's almost as bad as when you try to play something like Boros Reckoner and it gives you every single mana configurations that you could possibly have to play that card pops up, and you have to find the one that you're going to use. It's just super.
This is
wonky.
ridiculous. Why does it look like that on your screen? Because on mine, the Aerie and the Utopia Sprawl are actually beneath the forest. What is going on?
Oh, we just have
This is
different
madness.
just different dimensions of the model screen. Jay does have an Arbor Elf here. Now, a good question in chat is, why not play Heliod's Pilgrim in Jay's deck as a way to find that free from Uriel?
You would have to splash white, but true.
I mean, you have all these land enchantments that let you splash colors.
Yeah, I think you could have gone greedier. I think a red or white splash would have been fine.
And even then, if you have Heliod's Pilgrim, then you can play cards like Pacifism or just other removal spells that you can use as a toolbox.
Yep. I mean, his toolbox is more embedded in the trinket and the transmute of Drift of Phantasms. Oh, this Sabotage is just exactly what the card says.
So we're going to be able to kill 2 artifacts or enchantments. So we're going to take out
he had a creature tap,
Sheltered Aerie. We're going to take out a Utopia Sprawl. So that's going to hurt significantly, but it's still not putting pressure on. So Jaybone can still try and rebuild here. However, Korean Ranger is going to untap that Young Wolf so it can keep attacking, and that is pretty gross.
It is very cool synergy. I love seeing I mean, you used to be a proponent of elves for a little bit there, right, Chris? At least modern elves?
Yes,
What
modern
if
elves.
Korean Ranger was reprinted for modern? Would it go into your elf deck?
Yeah, it'd be busted. It'd be the best deck, not close. Everybody would be playing elves. Everybody would be playing Gut Shot as a way to handle Korean Ranger. It would just be it's way too good of a magic. Yeah, it's way too good of a magic card.
Fair enough. But Legacy Elves gets to enjoy it, and so does Pauper Elves. They run Korean, so Max has kind of incorporated that into his Green Stompy. I don't know if that's typical of Green Stompy.
Yeah, it gives you virtual mana sources. It just lets you cut down on the number of lands that you're playing. The card is just very, very good.
Yeah, very flexible too. I mean, we've seen him multiple times. Max certainly knows how to maneuver his deck. He's like untapped the Young Wolf after a Giga Drowse. We saw game 1. All sorts of neat things you can do with the Quirion Ranger here, even though he's not Elves. I'm sure it's way more busted like in Elves though, right? Because don't some of those Elves have like tap do something?
Yeah, I mean,
like the pump one and the life gain one.
Well, in Pauper Elves, yeah, but like in Legacy Elves, you're just like using Deathrite Shaman 100 times, or it's just insane.
Yeah.
Well, here's that Trinket Mage, so he can either go get another land to make a land drop. You can go get that Viridian Longbow. Looks like Seed of the Synod is the choice.
I think that's correct. I think that he's just bottlenecked on mana. I'm looking at Jay's hand. It's a Viridian Longbow, Drift of Phantasms, and Train of Thought. So he actually, if he transmutes Chris, he has the full combo, does he not? He needs enchantments though.
Yeah.
He doesn't have enough gas.
Yeah. We got a question here. Do I think Elves would be the best deck, even with all the board wipes that are running around? Could Elves, even with Ranger, beat turn 3 Anger? The answer is yes, because you're probably just dead on my turn 3 if I'm on the play, or just dead on turn 2 if you're on the draw. So.
Priest of Titanium, Timberwatch, says Matsy. Those are the ones that would totally break the Quirion Ranger. Yep, the Gain Life one and the Pump one, Timberwatch.
I mean, you can play those in Pauper Elves because they're commons.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, I've played against Pauper Elves is fearsome, Chris. I played against it a couple times. It's hard for my Rebels deck because a lot of my main deck removal is like pacifisms, but those creatures don't care about a pacifism effect.
Yep.
The Timberwatch just pump whatever you didn't pacify.
So it looks like we've got Young Wolf is going to crash in, Groundswell is going to pump it with Landfall. Trinket Mage blocked, but we're still going to take 5 points of trample damage, and Nettle Sentinel is going to be added to our field after that. And this is just not looking too good for Jaybone.
No, this is really disappointing because when we were talking about his pairings today, he was asking me who am I playing against today, and I was like, oh, well, you're playing against, like Mono Green Stompy. You'll be fine. He doesn't interact with you. You're fine. You're going to smash him game 1.
Well,
you're going to combo him, and that's not the case.
Well, we had some interaction here with that Gleeful Sabotage. This Train of Thought's just going to be 4 mana, draw 2 cards.
Oh, I love the Train of Thought.
And at this point, I have to imagine if we're Jaybone, we're hoping that we're not dead this turn, and then we can untap and try and win next turn.
Yeah, but, I mean, Max's hand says otherwise, doesn't it? I see Vines of Bastard he can kick.
Yeah, just like almost any pump spell is going to spell doom.
We're just dead. Max likes to get in the red zone. In the modern tournament, the budget modern tournament, he played Goblins, so he very much has expressed to me that he loves aggro, but at the same time, he's a kind of an interesting character. He's also a neuroscience. He has a PhD in neuroscience.
Yeah, I saw that in the player profiles. It's just like, neuroscientists playing Magic, and I'm just like, what are you doing? You're a neuroscientist. You can do whatever you want, but you're playing Magic, which is awesome because
What's wrong with Magic?
Well, when you're a neuroscientist, you can literally do anything. But like these kinds of games can help in professions like that. Critical thinking, strategic thinking, like that kind of stuff is very good. I played World of Warcraft, not professionally, but competitively. Was in a ranked guild, a sponsored guild, etc. One of the guys that I played with was one of the leading robotic surgeons in Canada, and he made it very clear that he played WoW strictly as a way to work on his hand-eye coordination because it helped him in his work.
Interesting.
How insane is that?
I actually played WoW a bit myself, but I lost a lot of high school years over that game. It was fun, though.
It looks like Maxlongitude is going to take this match. Sorry we didn't talk about the game too much there at the end because it was pretty elementary. Green monsters stomping over just a bunch of lands.
It kicked Vines, and it was just over for Jaybone. I'm heartbroken.
So